There's someone in here. Raise your hand. Come up, come up. A couple of years ago, Mark Zuckerberg visited the continent. This is the guy whose work Mark Zuckerberg invested in. Andela, he left Andela and then founded Flutterwave. Flutterwave has gone to develop a strong financial system. So when Uber is transacting in Lagos, they process, Flutterwave process it. Now he's left Flutterwave, and I need to know what he's up to now. He's up to some stuff. You need to talk. So the youth, this is an incredible human being that have found ways to scale technology, not just solve locally, but across the continent. So please, do we have a mic? I want you to say something.
Then you say something. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Please, just say something. You inspire us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, first of all, for the recognition. I deeply appreciate. I think for young people across the continent, what we represent, quite frankly, not just the future of Africa, but the future of the world. 2050. Africa will be more than half of the world's working population. And so we're very grateful for the work that has been done with AFCTA, because this is the vision for Africa that we've been pushing, to see an Africa come to the world stage as one prominent and strong force for good, and also as a balancer for equality as well. And what we've tried to do, at least what I've tried to do in my own career as an entrepreneur, is to try and balance the scales. When you think about who we many times, the policymakers, or sometimes who today are regarded as entrepreneurs, you're often looking at a lot of older people, which is a good thing now, but I think that as we start to think about the future, it's so important for us to start to invest in the leaders of today, quite frankly. And what that has meant for me is, with Andela, building talent, enabling young people in Africa to be able to go from $100 a month in income to $100,000 a year in income because of the internet, because they were able to develop skills that made them to be able to export not just goods, but also knowledge across the world. And with Flutterwave, what was important was giving each of these individuals a gateway to the global economy so they could get the payments directly. And so if you think about that Uber driver and the kind of opportunities that are now available to him because he's now able to accept payments in his taxi from anybody who pops into his cab. Or if you think about, in many cases, the freelancers that we enable with our platform who are now able to receive payments for being able to do a really good design, or being able to build an amazing website, or think about the way we enable visitors to many African countries by enabling African governments themselves to be able to control how they receive payments from all over the world. And just recently, we just did a deal with Alipay, enabling Africans to be able to do business with China, right? And as well as Africa. So the idea basically is, how would you connect Africans to the global economy? And for me, these are the questions that we do. So as we think about trading with Africa, I don't want us to always be stuck in the mindset that it has to be physical goods. There's a lot of knowledge already, a lot of knowledge trade already happening between the US and Africa. A lot of our young people who are enabling the US economy by building technology for US companies. A lot of our human capital in Silicon Valley, where my family lives, and in many parts of the financial district in New York, who are contributing to this trade in Africa. And my hope is that as we become a more globalized economy because of technology and the internet, a lot of these people can move back to Africa and contribute from everywhere in the world and have more of that wealth in Africa. And so I thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for the recognition. It really is an honor. And thank you for your work, sir, with the Africa Free Trade Agreement. It's funny, I'm going to be in Rwanda in about 2 weeks, where we have about 100 entrepreneurs who've gathered on their own accord to just talk about how do we speed up the exploitation of this Africa Free Trade Agreement. So entrepreneurs are already figuring out how we're going to make this work for ourselves, which would force, I always say, economics moves politics. So by the time we can show our investors that there's money to be made in the world's largest free trade area, my sense is that a lot of the other political things will be in place. So thank you for your work. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.